I'm going to read this chat here. Shout out to Wendy Carballo, one of our many moderators, one of our many viewers and subscribers, because this statement right here leads us into, well, about a movie that's going to be premiering. How often do you think about the Roman Empire? Clearly, who is president doesn't matter. No one seems to be in charge right now, and things keep humming along. You know, the Western Roman Empire and eventually even the Eastern Roman Empire went through the exact same thing. And there has been talks amongst people. There have been talks amongst everybody on social media that perhaps maybe the United States is on its way of becoming like the Roman Empire. All empires have a beginning, middle, and end, and an empire is a violent phenomenon. But we have to see, just overall, the big talk. So why am I talking about this? Well, Francis Ford Coppola says America will end up with an emperor in a few months. My films are present. Okay, so let's be clear here. We have an oligarchy. Could we ever have an emperor? Well, we actually did have one imperial presidency, and that was FDR. But let's go and talk about this. So Francis Ford Coppola drew gasps and groans for prediction he's now made about an upcoming presidential election. My goodness, it's a liberal panic about Trump. If you think Trump's the end-all, be-all threat, you're gravely mistaken, Francis Ford Coppola. The filmmaker joined his friends and collaborators, Robert De Niro and Spike Lee. Oh, God. Spike Lee, who also, I think, contributed to making the film Chirac. I hate that name. For a Q&A live stream from New York's AMC Lincoln Square to 65 IMAX theaters across the U.S. on September 24th before a New York Film Festival screening of Megalopolis. Okay, well, the trio, in conversation with the New York Film Festival artistic director Dennis Lim, shared reminiscences of their friendship before Coppola went deep on how Megalopolis can be seen as a metaphor for the fall of Rome and explained why he thinks America is heading down the same path. Well, maybe it's because also before we start, because I know De Niro, he's going to be foaming at the mouth about Trump. Trump isn't the problem. He's a symptom of it. We've had politicians in power for decades that created this massive amount of economic inequality between the people. We have politicians who've been in office for decades that helped contribute to these forever wars. And we have had politicians in power that through time sold our constitutional republic away from us, the people. We don't have a democracy. It's a constitutional republic. Say that to trigger a liberal. My film is a little present, and they relate to the future, Coppola said, noting that people asked him, why are you making a movie about eavesdropping, when the conversation came out? And then the Watergate tapes dropped shortly thereafter. And people always said, why do you make a movie about about America's Rome? Coppola continued, today America is Rome. I'll agree with him there. Yeah, we are the empire. And we're about to go through the same experience for the same reasons that Rome lost its republic and ended up with an imperator, an emperor. Well, hold on. Stop everything. Before everyone starts reminiscing about how great the Roman Republic was, there was a whole lot of issues with that republic. Okay? An average citizen just couldn't, go up and become a Roman senator. And that belonged to a lot of the rich, noble families. Hey, surprisingly, rich people are the only ones who really can afford to run for Congress or the U.S. Senate or the office of presidency. The republic was an oligarchy. It's just, there were some extra steps in it. You could call it a republic for the time. But Rome also had dictators too during its time as a republic. Rome had a lot of issues as a republic. And as it continued to expand militarily, it was becoming abundantly clear that many generals thought that maybe they could run the Roman Republic until a person named Caesar came along. And the reason why Caesar crossed the Rubicon was for many reasons, because there was massive upheaval between the rich and the poor, the optimates and the populace. Look into that about Caesar and Pompey. And then eventually with Augustus and Mark Antony. Again, calling us, we've had tyrannical presidents. We've had corrupt politicians before. It's going to happen overnight because of Trump. Trump him? No, he's only the beginning. Coppola clearly had clearly given this a lot of thought, and Megalopolis even features Shia LaBeouf becoming a villainous. Hey, who's going to call it in 3, 2, 1? A villainous Trumpian figure trying to harness populist rage for his own gain. The film takes place in an allegorical version of New York City called New Rome. And indeed, a Make New Rome Great Again cap can even be glimpsed at one point. Make Rome great again. We're going to do it. We're going to make the Roman Empire great again, folks. Okay? We're going to make the Roman Empire great again. Hey, hold on. Popeye the Sailor says, but Trump. And hold on. Menalita says, economic inequality, a capitalist love story. Oh, yep. There you go. And Menalita says, boomers project so much. I've run into my fair share of boomers who say F the Democrats and F the Republicans. So there you go. And movie directors are the most egotistical lot out there. Oh, hitting the nail on the head, my friend. Hitting the nail on the head. So let's go ahead and continue on with the rest of this. And it was for that same reason, Coppola said, as to where America is and where Rome ended up. Rome was so prosperous. Well, there was a reason why Rome was prosperous. It's because they were invading and taking territory up. Like, look, I like to joke on the show about the Roman Empire, but let's be very clear about the Roman Empire. It was on a massive expansion campaign to conquer the known world, starting ridiculous wars. All right, a war with Carthage, a war in Gaul, war everywhere. So eventually where they conquered almost all of North Africa, the Middle East, Europe, the largest empire in European history. But even when it was a republic, it was enslaving people. Even when it was a republic, it was committing war crimes. Okay, if we wanted to put Rome to today's standards, the Roman Empire was a very tyrannical institution. All right, but for its time, it was a republic, and for its time, it was prosperous. But we got to call a spade a spade. Rome, the empire or the city-state of Rome, which would eventually become the Roman Republic, you could say it was prosperous, but why was it prosperous? Rome was making lots of money. Oh, wow, it was. So the senators were actually very interested in their power and their own wealth, of course. And they weren't managing the country, sort of like us, yes. And well, the same thing has happened here. Our Senate representatives are manipulating their own power rather than running the country, and we're in danger of losing it. So shut up and vote Democrat. All you people. What do you mean, you people? I mean, you people. Shut up and vote Democrat. No, think for yourselves. The crowd could be heard gasping. Oh, boy. On the live. Oh, boy, excuse me. And they also did in person in Tampa, where the writer was watching it. And so Spike Lee immediately cracked a joke to try and lighten the mood. Back in Rome, they were eating cats and dogs, Lee quipped, citing Trump's outlandish and offensive comments about immigrants made during the second 2024 presidential debates against Democratic nominee and current Vice President Kamala the Cop Harris. Francis Ford Coppola used the recent opportunity after Lee's joke to speak about how shameful he thought the recent demonization of Haitians and Haitian immigrants to the U.S. has been, as he did recently in an Instagram post and shouted out a Haitian film he supports called Frida, directed by Geisha Guinness. De Niro. Oh, Robert De Niro. I love your characters. You as a person, though, man, Trump is living rent-free in your head, buddy. De Niro, one of the most enduring, vocal anti-Trump critics, did suggest he didn't think having an emperor is a fait accompli at this point, with around 40 days to go until the election. It's not over till it's over, De Niro said, and we have to go at this wholeheartedly to beat the Republicans. Those Republicans aren't real Republicans. Beat Trump. Beat Trump, everybody. That's what we got to do. You have to beat Trump. It's that simple. It is what it is. We cannot have that type of person in office in this world. That's simple. Everybody has to get out there and vote. So shut up and vote, people. And we have to make it very clear what America is. It's not that other thing is. It's just not. It's just not what we're about. And everybody knows that. Even people that are doing wrong know that. To this, writer Megalopolis is ultimately a film about how we approach the future and how we envision it. Coppola is clear that America has to face that future united. That's why he made certain casting choices, such as Trump supporter Jon Voight, who plays the banking mogul Crassus in the film. Hey! Is Jon Voight going to be on that stage? Is he going to be on that stage with you for a counter opinion? I mean, talk about projecting so much. Oh no, everybody. Shia LaBeouf is going to be a Trumpian villain. He will not divide us. Shut up and just do it. Do it. All right, so continue on. I deliberately got people to make this who disagree. Coppola says, I mean, there's actors in the movie that are moving another way. And there are people in there who have been canceled which way and right. And we in the movie, we all work together, happily and creatively. So it shows that I didn't want them to say, oh, it's some, a woke movie. That's just a political thing. We're above politics in making the film, I thought. And yet still, we all liked each other. Well, what a surprise there. Maybe if you actually talk to a person, you might like them and maybe hear their perspective. I've talked to a few Trump people. Back in the day when Hard Lens Media was getting started, you want to know what's pretty funny? We did have a couple of Trump trolls, and they were calling us, oh, you guys are communists. Blah, blah, blah. But after a while, they started listening to us. I'm like, oh, hey, I kind of like your show. I disagree with you a few things. You want to know who's the biggest trolls we got? It's liberals, actually. Oh, you guys want to help Trump? No, I don't. But there's a reason why Trump is popular. De Niro then replied to Coppola, can you imagine Donald Trump directing this movie? It would never go anywhere. Oh, God damn it, man. De Niro. Yo, did Donald Trump bang one of your mistresses and you're just afraid to tell anybody because you have a hate boner for Trump, the likes of which would make any other vote blue, no matter who's sycophant, envious of. I have to theorize that Trump probably banged one of De Niro's mistresses. I just have to throw it out there. Something like that. Unless he really just hates Trump. It would never go anywhere. It'd be total craziness. He can't do anything. He can't do anything together. He wants to destroy the country, and he could not do this movie. He couldn't do anything that has structure. My God. And if Trump, a Home Alone 2 actor, who then went on to serve as the U.S. president, can't direct an ensemble cast for a film, how could he bring a nation together? Coppola wrapped things up with a fun anecdote about the former president. So I know I went to military school with Trump. So I went to military school with Trump, the filmmaker said. I went to military school with Donald Trump. We went to the same military academy. Not at the same time. I was a little older, but I was poor. So I was a tuba player in the band, and he was rich. So he was in the headquarters where they could keep their lights on after 10. And that's probably the last time Coppola and Trump were on literal common ground. Huh. So what's the big takeaway? Well, obviously, I got a homework assignment for myself. I do want to see this film, Megalopolis. I do. Anything about the Roman Empire, my heart does sing a little bit, okay? And see, liberals, I could watch a movie too, and I'm also going to watch that Matt Walsh movie. Am I a racist? Am I a racist? Hey, go check out both those films back to back. I got a lot of work to do over the weekend. A lot of stuff to do over the weekend. But, my friends, and this is the key word here, it's easy to project your fears on somebody and say that they are the threat, that they are the danger. Well, the whole world is filled with vile and evil people. But if everyone who wants to turn Trump into the end-all, be-all villain, we have to ask ourselves, how did Trump come around here in the first place? And you have to look at the architects who created the system. We have to look at the presidents who helped create this system, and that is previous Democratic and Republican presidential administrations. And we also have to look at the senators in the U.S. Senate and House who've been in power for maybe 10, 15, 20, 30 years in power. We have to look at these people who laid down the foundations for Trump to come along. And is Trump the next dictator, the next Caesar? No. We already had an imperial presidency. That was FDR. We could have had one under Theodore Roosevelt. Dare I say it? There are numerous opportunities in which we could truly had an imperial presidency. But what we have right now is a corrupt system that is controlled by oligarchs. And Trump is just part of that system too. He's part of the club. Right now, a lot of the club owners are upset because Trump is going to upset the apple cart. And plus, Trump has said things a little bit too close to the truth. Yes, he's probably the most transparent president we've ever had. Trump is the only person, the only president to ever say why we're in the Middle East. I mean, Reagan, Bush Sr., Bill Clinton, Bush Jr., Obama, and even senile old man Biden. They knew the script. Why are we in the Middle East? Freedom, justice, liberty, protecting the people, establishing democracy. Trump called that out and said, nah, we're there for the oil. We're there for the oil. That's all. We're there for the oil. First time ever. Hey, why are we in the Middle East? Oh, we're there for the oil. Everybody in D.C. collectively crapped their pants because, again, Trump told the truth. Well, he told the truth about how our whole electoral system is, especially not paying taxes. I mean, do you think your favorite Democratic politician is doing their own fair share of paying taxes? Hey, somebody asked Nancy to stop doing insider trading. See how that works for you. Whether or not we truly do become like the Roman Empire, yes, our corporate owners are running the show. But another thing to take into account, and this is very important for all of us to push forward in, it's up to us, the people. We are also players in this game. We may not have the huge financial wealth, but we do have our power, our grit, our determination. Now, many empires have risen and fallen because it's when the people give up on the ideas, the ideals of what they can truly be. And together, if we put aside our differences and really look at the true villains of the story, it's not your neighbor. It's not somebody working a 9-to-5 job. It's not somebody on the road. You want to know who the villain is? You want to know why things suck the way they are? Do you want to know who's the real culprit? It's those people in D.C. It's the politicians. They're the ones who made this so at the behest of their corporate donors, owners, and you have corporate media who's also contribute to that too. And yet they want to scare you as Trump. But the real villains have been doing this for 20, 30 years now. So you got to wake up to the fact that, yes, I understand why everybody's afraid of Trump, but he's not the final boss villain. He's not it. We've been seeing them in plain sight, and they've been wearing some very clever masks. So it's up to the people now to step up and say no more. We are better than this, and the world is watching us. So no matter what happens on election night, our fight isn't over, because we can truly become something great. And if we can learn from the past, think about what kind of a better world we can make for the next generation. No matter what happens on election night, don't be afraid. Our fight is only beginning.